Okay, part two of this video is going to be the lockback knives. We'll go from smallest to largest. Another Boker. This is a stag handle. I've had this for, geez, maybe going on 20 years? Had it for a while. This was my EDC for probably a solid 10 years every single day. Let's see here. There's the shield. Fit and finish is typical of Boker. You got a pretty good product. Just one single blade. Not very threatening, something you can carry in an office environment, not freak people out. It says Germany stainless. Fun little knife. I doubt I'll ever get rid of this guy. Next Baclock Spyderco, I think this is a Dragonfly. This guy fits almost perfectly in the fifth pocket on a pair of jeans. I pulled the pocket clip off of it. It was one of those wire ones, and I found it kind of useless for such a small knife. I'll just carry it in the bottom of my pocket or in that fifth pocket. Baclock. This knife here, you know, I use it a lot, so it's just kind of filthy. But VG10, Seki City, Japan. So get that to focus. There we go. The awesome thing about this knife is this jimping is quite possibly the most functional jimping I've ever had on any knife, period. It's down here too on the choil. But when you grip this thing, and your thumb goes into that, and your finger goes up here, it's like you're super glued. I mean, you try to move your thumb off, and it just doesn't even want to go. This is by far the most effective jimping I've ever handled. Super impressive. And just from an aesthetic perspective, I like how they've beveled the spine. Just gives it a little touch. So that is Spyderco Dragonfly. I think these are G10 scales. Next is a Buck. Everybody knows what this is. Buck 110. No pocket clip. I carry this in the leather sheath. It's one of the made in Mexico sheaths. I would like to maybe stumble across one of the old made in America sheaths one day and swap it out. Brass bolsters, brass pin, ebony wood. I do like to carry this one a lot lately. This one's had a lot of carry time. Typical Buck. I got the drop point, not the clip point, just because I like it. I prefer it over the clip point with this knife. I really only have one complaint, and it's not that big of a deal. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but when they ground this blade, yeah, ooh, focus, there. It's very asymmetrical at the point. I really doubt they did that on purpose. Let's see here. Look at that. I'm trying to get it to focus for you. There. It almost looks like a chisel grind. You know, and it's still ridiculously sharp. It still is a really acute point. It still cuts. You can see the bevel is there. And the bevel is there. It's just one of them is so much more angled than the other. Like I said, it doesn't really affect the performance of the knife, but it's just a pet peeve. It's kind of weird. If I didn't think I'd ruin the knife, I'd get the grinder out and try to fix it, but my guess is I don't have the skill set to do it without making it even worse. But Buck 110, I mean, you can't argue with that. It's one of the coolest pocket knives out there as far as I'm concerned. I guess there's two more backlocks. Cold Steel Mini Recon 1. I think that's G10 scales. I wish this had a deep pocket carry, but it does not. So when you're carrying it, about that much of the knife sticks up. I'm just not a big fan of that. I like it when the pocket conceals most of it. It's a good pocket clip. It's functional. It's just not deep enough for my liking. Recon 1, it's a mini. It's not the big giant one, so you can carry this one and actually put something else in your pocket as well. I don't come across these a whole lot anymore. And it's got the top spine that's beveled. It's not sharpened, it's just got a bit of a bevel on it. Not very thick, relatively lightweight for what it is. Solid as a rock. Drive it over with a tank, keep using it. And now the last backlock is another Cold Steel. This is the Counterpoint. Kind of a dagger style blade. The false edge is not sharpened, so that's blunt. Well, it's not even blunt, it's just flat, just like a spine of a blade. But it does have that dagger or spear look to it. Counterpoint 1. Taiwan AOS 10A. Holds a pretty good edge, but I don't really use this one for normal EDC pocket knife carry. I'll typically bring this one when I'm going somewhere that does not allow me to have a firearm. So, not something to break out to open an Amazon package, but something to make you feel a little more secure when you can't otherwise protect yourself and your family. And it's cold steel, so you know, it's never going to break. And with the skeletonized handle, the weight is surprisingly low. This thing, as big as it is, it disappears in your pocket because it's so lightweight. Okay, next on to the liner and frame locks.